The question we all want to know. How much did I make in my first month as a business owner? Let's talk what you're all here for, the numbers. We are left with a net profit of... I was honestly blown away by this number. Hi, my name is Alysha. I started a business back in November 2024 that focused on all things handmade, like crocheting beanies, sculpting with polymer clay, and sewing scrunchies. Basically anything to let me continue exploring my hobbies. So this video is long overdue for many reasons, but I am excited to finally share with you all how much I made in the first month that I opened my business. I personally think that financial transparency is something that's very important to share with everyone, especially when trying to inspire and motivate others to possibly open a business of their own someday. So I'll be going over how much revenue I made, what expenses were spent, and what my profit was at the end of the day in my first 30 days of running my business. Now, to preface, the first month of running a business was so much fun. I had recently just left my job, and so in between, while I was searching for a new job, I kind of had the creative motivation to start a business. It's something that I've always thought about doing, but A, never really had the time, and B, also, I was just scared of it. There's more that goes into running a business than you even realize, than I even realized. In this short time, I was able to prototype creations, expand my product lines, and build a story behind my business that I loved. Then, as a job search would, I ended up landing a full-time job that I love. But with that being said, I was searching for a part-time originally, and so working a full-time definitely threw everything off balance. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of that, let's talk what you're all here for, the numbers. So, here's a simple breakdown of everything from my first 30 days. I'm going to read off my phone so that way I'm giving you all accurate numbers. My total revenue, which is everything I made in sales before subtracting any taxes, expenses, etc. So I made $1,217. I was honestly blown away by this number when I calculated it because I hadn't really calculated how much I made in the first 30 days until making this video. Next, my expenses, which included everything that I purchased to start up my business and the supplies, came out to $1,141. For business startup fees, I would say that is relatively cheap, but it is still a very large number. And luckily, this number will decrease in the coming months as most of these costs are a one-time payment or a yearly payment. And because I do my business math wrong, and I know that I do it wrong, but I started doing it this way and I just haven't had the time to really fix it up in my sheets, and so I continue doing it. I remove my business taxes, aka my personal income taxes, from my revenue rather than my profit, which is not correct because it's income tax. But it doesn't hurt to put aside extra money because you never know what's going to happen in tax season. Maybe your expenses weren't as accurate as you thought, or some things aren't eligible, etc. So I like to put away about 20% of my revenue as my income tax, and so that came out to $243.40. So if you take my revenue, subtract my expenses and taxes, we are left with a net profit of negative $167.40. I'm quite shocked. Because I covered all of my costs up front prior to earning any revenue, I didn't realize that I would be in the negatives. I was so surprised. With that said, if I remove my taxes properly from my profit instead of my revenue, then I would actually come to a profit of $60.80. But because I do my math wrong, it doesn't come out that way. So yes, in the first 30 days, I made a whopping total of $60. Now, The numbers are great at telling you how I did, but let me give you some context on it all. From November 8th to December 7th, I made a total of 13 sales. In regards to marketing, I didn't do too much. I focused on making and building a YouTube channel, which created a community for me. I also created an Instagram page for my shop where I could highlight some of the behind the scenes and really show you all my products. So by now, I've switched over from using my shop page to using my personal/creator page. But at the time that I opened my store, I did only have the shop Instagram. So when I opened my store, I had about 300 followers on my shop's Instagram page and 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. My 13 orders were pretty scattered all over the place. I had one from one of my best friends, an order from a referral from my best friend, 4 from my community back when I used to stream on Twitch TV, 2 from family. So happy that they support me. 2 were also from some friends that I met through my Instagram shop page. And 2 were actually from YouTube, from you guys. One was also a repeat customer, which was super amazing. That was my first repeat customer. So to preface, I had streamed on Twitch for about 3 years back in 2017 to 2020. So that did gain me a decent community, but because it was 2024 when I opened my shop, 4 years is a long time. I did not expect people to remember me, to still be following me, to be keeping up with me. I had gone very quiet on social medias and just enjoying my personal time away from most of the internet. And so when I opened up this shop and I had 4 orders come from people on Twitch, I was pleasantly surprised. Surprised in the fact that they remember me, to see their names. Even in the YouTube comments or on my Instagram comments, I'll still see everyone, and it always makes me happy. But that's definitely something that's more a unique case to me and won't necessarily be the case for everyone else who opens their first shop. With all that said, I was a lot luckier than most people to have had a previous following that helped boost my first month's sales. Now, what I wish I had done differently. Although I love all the products that I've made so far, I personally wish that I had taken more time to prototype further, to explore further, to figure out what exactly I wanted my brand and vision of my business to look like. I had a small prototyping era, but nothing that was long enough for me to really figure out what it is that I wanted to do and to really get in that super creative zone. But with that being said, as a perfectionist, I know that if I didn't start at some point in my journey, I probably still to this day would not have a shop open. So you have to start at some point. Next, I think I would diversify less. Currently in my shop, I crochet, I sew, I sculpt. I'm doing a little bit of everything. I sell greeting cards, I sell stickers. I am stretching myself quite thin. With that being said, it is giving me the opportunity to really explore and figure out what it is that I want my brand to be and what it is that you want my brand to be. And so I think it's a unique opportunity for me to be able to play into all of my hobbies that I really enjoy while also catering to all of you. But with that being said, I don't know if it all feels cohesive. Essentially, I just can't figure out what would be most ideal for the longevity of my shop. And lastly, I wish that I had expected the unexpected, which is Canada Post going on strike. Canada Post had gone on strike about 5 days after I'd launched my shop, and it really threw a wrench into all of my plans. I felt really unmotivated when this happened. I couldn't ship out any orders. It felt wrong for me to be telling you to purchase from my shop because I couldn't even mail anything out to you. I felt like a scammer. You are here ordering from me and I'm not even able to give you any product. It also sucked that it really ruined my holiday rush. I wasn't able to market myself much because I knew my orders would not arrive before Christmas, which is typically what you're trying to go for. And because I hadn't expected Canada Post to go on strike, I didn't sign up for any holiday markets because I didn't want to overwhelm myself at that time in the odd chance that I did get a bunch of orders. Overall, definitely some lessons learned. But I will say, I was blown away at my first month. What I earned ended up covering all my costs, which is amazing. It helped alleviate a lot of stress and financial burden for the next coming months in my business. And I will say, I do have a full-time job, so that does cover all of my living expenses. So if I had one tip to share with any of you aspiring business owners out there, I would say just do it. I know you hear it all the time. I know it's very cliche, but you can't get anywhere if you don't start. Do your research, figure out exactly what you want, and just try it. Who cares if you fail? Get up and try again. I have started up my YouTube career probably 3 times now. I used to stream, I used to be a baker, and now I'm a payroll and finance admin assistant. Life takes you in a lot of different places, and you end up learning a lot along the way, which changes you a lot as a person. So try again. And do not be worried about there being too much competition. If that's stopping you, let me tell you this. With 7 billion people in the world, every market is going to be oversaturated. With that said, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the game for you to be at the top of the league. What matters is that you have that special something that people want in order to boost you up. And with everyone being completely unique, I believe that you do have that in you, and I have that in me. And we just need to work hard to bring that out and showcase it to everyone. Remember, you just need to call on to your people, the people who have the same mindset as you, the same hobbies as you, the people who understand you will understand your business and will want to support you. And don't forget not to view others as competition. You can always learn something from someone, whether they started 10 years before you or 5 years after you. There's always so much changing, and you can always learn more and more by either observing from people, by talking to them, etc. Thank you again for listening to me ramble on about my business, and I hope that this gave you a lot of good insight on what it's like to start a business. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions about starting a business that I can help answer. I hope to see you all next week as well. I will be stepping a little back from the business talk, and I'll be heading to the kitchen to make some French macarons with you all, which they turned out so good. I hope to see you all there. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you are interested in a mix of business, hobbies, crafting, like baking, sewing, sculpting, video games. I do a little bit of all of it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye. You can do it. I believe in you.